Guys, let us study about blood and its components. Blood is a red colored liquid which circulates in our body. Blood is red because it contains a red pigment called hemoglobin in its red blood cells. Blood is a connective tissue. Blood consists of four things, that is plasma, red blood corpuscles or we say RBC, white blood corpuscles that is WBC, and platelets. Now, what is plasma? Plasma is a colorless liquid which consists mainly of water with mainly substances dissolved in it. Plasma contains about 90% water. It also contains dissolved substances such as proteins, digested food, common salts, waste products like carbon dioxide and urea, hormones. Plasma carries all these dissolved substances from one part to another part in the body. RBCs, while WBCs and platelets are immersed in this liquid called plasma. Now, red blood cells, that is RBCs. Red blood cells are red in color due to the presence of red pigment called hemoglobin. RBCs are carriers of oxygen. They carry oxygen from lungs to all the cells of the body. It is actually the hemoglobin present in RBCs which carries oxygen in the body. Hemoglobin perform a very important function of carrying oxygen from lungs to body tissues. Hemoglobin also carries some of the carbon dioxide from body tissues to the lungs. Red blood cells are circular in shape. Red blood cells do not have nuclei. Red blood cells have to be made quickly because they do not live for very long. So one reason for short life of red blood cells is that they do not have nuclei. It has been estimated that about 3 million red blood cells of human body die every day, but 4 times the number are made in the bone marrow every day. So when we donate blood to save the life of a person, then the loss of blood from our body can be made up very quickly within a day. White blood cells fight infections and protect us from diseases. This is because white blood cells helps to fight against germs and other foreign bodies which cause diseases. Some white blood cells can eat up germs like bacteria which cause diseases. Other white blood cells can make chemicals known as antibodies to fight against infection. In other words, white blood cells manufacture antibodies which are responsible for providing immunity in our body, due to which we are protected from disease and infections. In fact, white blood cells are called soldiers of the body. All the white blood cells have a nucleus, though the shape of nucleus is different in different type of white blood cells. So WBC in the blood are much smaller in number than RBCs. Now, platelets are tiny fragments of special cells formed in bone marrow. Platelets do not have nuclei. Platelets help in the coagulation of blood for clotting of blood in a cut or wound. For example, when a cut or wound starts bleeding, then platelets help clot the blood, due to which further bleeding stops. All the blood cells are made in the bone marrow from the cells called stem cells. Now, what are the functions of blood? The important functions of blood in our body are as follows. Blood carries oxygen from the lungs to different part of the body. Okay. Blood carries carbon dioxide from the body cells to the lungs for breathing out. Blood carries digested food from small intestine to all the parts of the body. Blood carries hormones from the endocrine glands to different organ of the body. Blood carries a waste product called urea from the liver to the kidneys for excretion in urine. Blood protects the body from diseases. This is because white blood cells kill the bacteria and other germs which cause diseases. Blood regulates the body temperature. This is because the blood capillaries in our skin help to keep our body temperature constant at about 37 degrees centigrade. Let us understand about human circulatory system. The human circulatory system consists of heart, arteries, veins, capillaries, and blood. The heart has four compartments called chambers inside it. The upper two chambers of heart are called atria, singular form is atrium, and the lower two chambers of heart are called ventricles. The left atrium is connected to the left ventricle through a valve V1. Similarly, the right atrium is connected to right ventricle through valve V2. These valves prevent the backflow of blood into atria when the ventricles contract to pump blood out of the heart to the rest of the body. This is because when the ventricles contract, the valve V1 and V2 close automatically so that the blood may not go back into atria. Since ventricles have to pump blood into various organs with high pressure, they have thicker walls than atria. Arteries have thick wall because blood emerges from heart under high pressure. The main artery, that is called aorta, carries oxygenated blood from left ventricle to all parts of the body except lungs. The pulmonary artery carries deoxygenated blood from the right ventricle to the lungs. The capillaries are thin-walled and extremely narrow tubes or blood vessels which connect arteries to veins. The exchange of various materials like oxygen, food, carbon dioxide, etc. between the blood and the body cells takes place through capillaries. Veins are thin-walled blood vessels which carry blood from all parts of the body back to the heart. The main difference between an artery and a vein is that an artery carries blood from heart to the body or body organs, whereas a vein carries blood from body organs back to the heart. We will now describe the circulation of blood in the human body with the help of a diagram. When the muscles of all the four chambers of heart are relaxed, the pulmonary vein brings the oxygenated blood from the lungs into the left atrium of the heart. When the left atrium contracts, the oxygenated blood is pushed into the left ventricle through the valve V1. When the left ventricle contracts, the oxygenated blood is forced into the main artery called aorta. This main artery then branches into smaller arteries which go into different body organs except lungs. The smaller arteries called arterioles further branch into capillaries. The main artery carries blood to all the organs of the body like head, chest, arms, stomach, intestines, liver, kidney, trunk and legs, except lungs. When the oxygenated blood passes through the capillaries of the body organ, then it gives oxygen to the body cells. Since the blood loses oxygen here, we say that blood has been deoxygenated. The blood also gives the digested food and other dissolved materials to the body cells. At the same time, carbon dioxide produced as a waste material during respiration enters into the blood. The deoxygenated blood from the body organ enters into the main vein called vena cava. The main vein carries the deoxygenated blood to the right atrium of the heart. When the right atrium contracts, deoxygenated blood is pushed into the right ventricle through the valve V2. And when the right ventricle contracts, the deoxygenated blood is pumped into the lungs through the pulmonary artery. In the lungs, deoxygenated blood releases its carbon dioxide and absorbs fresh oxygen from air. So the blood becomes oxygenated again. This oxygenated blood is again sent to the left atrium of heart by pulmonary vein for circulation in the body. The whole process is repeated continuously. In this way, the blood keeps on circulating in our body without stopping, due to which all the body parts keep on getting oxygen, digested food, and other materials all the time. The blood circulation also keeps on removing waste products formed in the cells of the body. The blood circulatory system in human beings is an example of double circulation, a circulatory system in which the blood travels twice through the heart in one complete cycle of the body is called double circulation. Now, blood pressure. The pressure at which blood is pumped around the body by the heart is called blood pressure. The maximum pressure at which the blood leaves the heart through the main artery, that is aorta, during contraction phase is called systolic pressure. The minimum pressure in the arteries during the relaxation phase of heart is called the diastolic pressure. So normal blood pressure values are systolic pressure is 120 mm of Hg and diastolic pressure is 80 mm of Hg. So blood pressure is measured by using an instrument called sphygmomanometer. The next section is lymphatic system. A system of tiny tubes called lymph vessels and lymph nodes in the human body which transports the liquid called lymph from body tissue to the blood circulatory system is called lymphatic system. Lymphatic system consists of following parts: lymph capillaries, large lymph vessels, lymph nodes, lymph. So lymph capillaries are tiny tubes which are present in the whole body, just like blood capillaries. Lymph capillaries, however, differ from blood capillaries in two ways. That is, lymph capillaries are closed-ended and the pores in the walls of lymph capillaries are bigger in size than that of blood capillaries. Since the ends of lymph capillaries in the body tissues are closed, so the tissue fluid can only sweep into the walls of the lymph capillaries present in the body tissue. Moreover, since the pores in the walls of lymph capillaries are somewhat bigger, so even large protein molecules present in the tissue fluid can enter into lymph capillaries. The lymph capillaries join to form large lymph vessels. The lymph vessels have lymph nodes at intervals. The lymph nodes contain special type of cells called lymphocytes. Lymph nodes containing lymphocytes are involved in the cleaning of lymph and protecting the body from disease. The lymph vessels are connected to large veins of blood circulatory system. Lymph is a light yellow liquid which is somewhat similar in composition to blood plasma. Lymph is not red like blood because it does not contain red blood cells. Lymph contains large protein molecules and digested food. It also contains germs from the cells and fragments of dead cells. Lymph is another medium of circulation in the human body. Lymph contains a special type of blood cells called lymphocytes which help in fighting infection and disease. Lymph containing large protein molecules, digested fats, germs and fragments of dead cells from the tissue fluid around the body cells sweeps into the lymph capillaries present throughout the body. From lymph capillaries, lymph passes into large lymph vessels containing lymph nodes. In the lymph nodes, lymph is cleaned by white blood cells called lymphocytes. White blood cells eat the germs and dead cells and make antibodies for protecting the body from disease.